Hello everyone, my name is Lorthorn and welcome to Minecraft Bewitchment Besmirched add-on for 1.16.5. There we go. This is a little add-on for the Bewitchment mod, and it adds everyone's favorite creatures, or the thing that they seem to want for some reason, the Werepire, which we will get to see later on. So what is Besmirched? Well, it is an add-on that seems almost, it's 50% serious and 50% troll, as you can kind of see. These are the items here, and we're going to start off with the more trolly of items. So, if you're a vampire that wants to be a bit of an elitist, you can make yourself the elite coffin, which gives off light for some reason. I have no idea why you'd give off light. And this thing is made literally by combining coffins in red, green, blue, with other colors around them, and you get this color-changing rainbow coffin for your heart's desire. Now, the besmirched stuff can be found inside the Book of Shadows. They'll unlock along with them, and anything that's new will have this red, and it'll say, added by Besmirched. Besmirched is also on the kind of hat I'm wearing. I'm wearing a besmirched hat. That's in the base game. Anyhow's it. So the next item, which is still slightly silly, but not as much, is the final broom, which is all rainbowy, and it changes color on you. And this is basically a combination of all the brooms. So if you want to have all brooms combined to one, and you happen to have a spare nether star sticking around, I guess you can get all their powers in one and get this lovely rainbow broom for yourself. So I think probably the final completely pointless and silly thing that the besmirch adds, besides these two things, is you can now craft yourself some dye. So dye is, well, kind of a harsh word, but you make it by adding some birch bark, some aquacentra, and glass, and then you get this bleach here, and then you can bottle this stuff up, and it's witchery bleach, and then you can take this stuff here, and if you happen to have a spare color on you, like light blue, then you can go, hey, let's add some light blue, and then you can get some light blue witchery dye. Now, this stuff is really disappointing in some ways. So, it can dye stuff, and it's a thrown item, so you throw it and it dyes things. However, if you throw it at sheep, it doesn't change their color, which I find very disappointing. But you could have like a sort of paintball fight with it, because if you see, it changes the color of dyeable clothing. There's also one other thing you can do, though, which is you can dye werewolves with it. So right here we have a brown werewolf. Now you can make a cyan werewolf. You can make a blue werewolf. And a black werewolf. I'm rather curious about the rainbow. Okay, yeah, you can make a rainbow werewolf. So that's pretty exciting. So that makes up for everything, is the dyeing of werewolves, which is immensely amusing. There is a few other things that this mod allows you to do. One of them is to make love potions. This is a new kind of brew you can make the love potion, and well, it's a rather fun little thing. So it's like all other things, but it's mandrake root, get you all bubbling, then you throw in a rose bush, you ball that up, and that gives you love potion. Now, I prefer to make my love potions all splishy splashy, so I add a little gunpowder up here, and you just take a pinch of gunpowder. You'll make these love potions of splashing, and this is a rather cool thing. So, love potions make things, well, uncontrollably attracted to each other. So, if we make this little pit here, and drop 2 villagers in it, then this will make the two of them incredibly attracted with each other, and we're going to have to censor that out there. It's rather inappropriate. Love potions make things incredibly attracted to each other. So if we get these sheep here and we drop the love potion on them, then we're going to get some new baby sheep out here. And of course, there's still the period of which animals cannot then immediately breed again. And it should work on villagers as well. However, it doesn't seem to be working on these villagers in this pit. They seem to be snuggling, but I just don't think these two are capable of having children together. So we'll just leave them to that. This potion actually does have a different effect, though, which has some rather horrifying implications. So its other effect is it lets you get new familiars. See, one of the things it does, if you go to the Creatures tab, there is a new thing called Unconventional Familiars, right? And so what this does is if using a love potion and ritual of binding, you can get familiars that aren't normal. And they don't give you the super magical benefits of normal, but you could like bind yourself to a villager, chicken, pig, parrot, llama, cow, and they all have their own effects. I want to showcase two that I find particularly strange, I think is the best term. So you need just a few simple items, including your love potion. So we're going to need to get ourselves this chicken here. Hello. Get a tag lock of him. And then we're going to throw all the ingredients in for Ritual of Binding, which are Demon Heart, Ectoplasm, Mandrake Root, and the tag lock. And then we Potion of Love both ourselves. Now I activate this ritual and it'll bind me to the chicken. So ritual is going to complete, and now as you can see, the chicken has this little trail here of arcane sparks coming off him. So binding myself to the chicken gives me two new unique powers. The first one is if I crouch while falling, I fall really slow. You may have just seen the other one there, which is when you crouch, it allows you to do something rather horrid, which is lay eggs. And so you can, if you bind yourself to a chicken, you can get yourself an unlimited supply of eggs. And I don't think it even takes any ME. So there's that ritual. So there's a few other bindings. So the sheep is lets you eat grass by pressing K, and that's pretty cool. The parrot lets you turn to another player. We don't have any around. Llama, you can spit stuff out. The pig makes it so food is better for you, and if you die, you drop pork chops. And the villager just makes you more popular in a village. They accept you as a part of their family. But, well, once we've dealt with this chicken here, which actually something I want to point out is, so normally a chicken would be very dead at this point. But being a familiar buffs them quite a bit. You don't have to also be brutal on them. You can just use the ritual of unbinding, but that's no fun. Alright, so the next the victim of our binding is going to be the cow. Going to add a cow there. And those of you who are sharp of eye or pause the video at some point already know what's coming. But for those of you that don't, well, this is, I think, very disturbing. So, tag lock of our cow. We get in there. That was easy. Love potion for the both of us. We're all lovey-dovey. Going to start that ritual. Easy as can be. Alright. Ritual's going. Now this cow's our familiar. It's leaving little sprinkles of arcane dust about. Game mode. Survival. So, now if we hold a bucket in our hand and press K, this happens. Now, I'm going to do that a few more times for you, just so you can hear this. That is not right. That is very wrong, and that is actually a large part of Besmirchment I have found. It's basically the jokes at the player's expense. So bind yourself to a cow makes it so. Press K while holding an empty bucket and find out what this wonderful familiar does. So that's what the cow familiar does, and it's well, rather horrid, in my opinion. I really like it, but I also really don't like it. I'm actually going to unbind myself from this cow because I don't want to be associated with that power anymore. And I'll just take a swig of this. Ooh, that's good. God. Right. Next up, something sparkling. And we're going to get killed by the vampire. And we're going to become a vampire. And, well, if you recall, vampires have a very bad time with sunlight. But there is actually a new thing you can craft in the cauldron, which is why I wanted to showcase by becoming a vampire. And you can make sunscreen. That's right, vampire sunscreen, which is made in the witch's cauldron. It's a pretty simple recipe. It requires grim, aqua, a little bit of honeycomb for that wax, and some ectoplasm. You drop all these lovely ingredients inside the cauldron here. Just look at that. Oh, that looks tasty. And you get yourself some sunscreen, and then you apply the sunscreen to yourself, And when it is daytime, you will now sparkle as a vampire. Also, if we go back into the survival mode, we no longer die. Although, having sunscreen applied to yourself as a vampire makes you much weaker, but I think it's very fun that you have the sparkling effect. And so, if we go here into the darkness, well, it's daytime, see, we don't sparkle, no sunlight. So you can basically tell someone's a vampire wearing sunscreen if they're sparkling when they're out and about. And well, I think that's just very, very fun. Next, Werepire. So the Werepire, which is probably what you're most interested in, although I think there's actually something more interesting than the Werepire. Anyways, the Werepire, for its patron demon, as you recall, if you've gone through this before or watched my how-to of Bewitchment, you need to summon a demon. And it's best to summon the demon beforehand, because it can be rather difficult to get them while you're in a state of, well, not being able to hold silver. Although, this demon isn't the case. So, who we're going to be summoning is, if we go back to creatures here, Beelzebub, Lord of Flies, Lord of the Pit and Filth, and he's the patron saint of, well, werepires, because werepires are abominations, much like him. So to summon Beelzebub, you need a demon. So, and this is actually a little tricky. We're going to also put on the besmirched robes, as these protect you from things and make trading possible. So demons, there's something new they can trade with you, which is the Scroll of Torment. Now I'm going to just open up a hole over here. Right, so if we get a demon over here, and we commence in trade with him, it hasn't happened this time, but sometimes they'll trade with you the Scroll of Torment, and you can upgrade the trading and probably get a better thing out of it. But anyways, so you can get this scroll here, and this scroll is one of the steps to selling Beelzebub. Now another thing you're going to need is a pig, and this is actually, like, compared to all the other rituals, really simple. I quite like it. Well, besides the trading with a demon, but that's all fine. Now it has to be night, so we have a set to midnight switch here, which is pretty nice. And what you do is you put a pig into the area where you want to summon Beelzebub, and I'd recommend adding a ring of salt around it, just so he can't get out. And then you hold down the scroll on the pig, and you just keep holding it down, and eventually that will happen. And you will summon Beelzebub, who summons giant bees and spiders, I think. Or just normal sized bees. Yeah. And yeah, he summons bees. He summons angry bees and flaming spiders. So don't mess with him. I think the flaming spiders is actually an accident. And he makes the sound of a spider himself. Itself, I can't tell. It either has like a misshaped abdomen or there's something else going on, but still pretty cool. Summoning bees and spiders to attack with, I like it. And that's Beelzebub. So we're going to leave it here for now, the Lord of Flies and the Filth and the Pit, which is very appropriate. And we're going to move on to the Werepire. So there is two ways to become a Werepire. And, well, the first one is, well, the classic way of you get yourself immortal and vulnerable at the same time, and you get mugged by, well, a Werepire, and then you turn into it. The other way, which is the way we're going to do, because it allows me to showcase something else, is you get infected by vampirism, and you get infected by werewolfism. You have to be a werewolf first, though. Anyways, we are going to, I'll just summon a Werepire to just show you what we're going to become. So here's our friendly neighborhood Werepire. They are dyeable as well, which is pretty good. So you can dye yourself a Werepire if you want to, although they do look kind of silly when dyed. Now, to become a Werepire is a little bit bugged. The death protection pop actually doesn't work, and like I said earlier, you have to be a werewolf first, then be taken out by a vampire, or be straight up taken out by a Werepire. But instead of the poppet of death protection, you need to use the Totem of Undying because it's bugged and weird, and it's just not working at the moment. It'll get fixed in the future, but for now you have to use the Totem of Undying. And then bam, just like that, you'll be a Werepire. So, the Werepire is this big old hulking beast here, where you have wings and the vampire thing going on. Now, apparently you can't fly, which is sort of true. You can flap, though, for a really, really good distance. So, it seems that the Werepire has some pretty good coverage of things he can run to. Like, he can just straight up fly, just not creative flying. It's more like flappity, flappity, flappity. You can dye yourself, Well, you're a werewolf, which is also fun. So we can make ourselves a rainbow werepire if we want to. Now, werepire is faster than normal, and this jump thing, it's like basically constant double jump. You hit pretty hard with your punch. They can still drink blood from villagers as normal, which is kind of ridiculous. They cannot eat normal food anymore, so they do have to drain blood. And the sun does appear to murderize them, which is rather contrary to the book, which said it does not. So I don't know what that's all about, but sunlight appears to be deadly. Maybe? It's actually seems the initial burst of the sun lights them on fire, but after that they might actually be fine. Yeah, no, I'm no longer catching fire. No, that's just weird. Little inconsistency there. If we have Beelzebub here, and we make sure he's looking me in the eyes while we eat the grotesque stew, then that will give us the power to become a werepire during the day. And it, in fact, does not light you on fire. Okay, we need some bleach. If you want to get rid of that, you just drop some bleach on yourself. But now, we're a right proper werepire. And we can now control the transformation. However, it seems to have a chance to light us on fire, which seems really bad for our health. But it comes randomly, so I think that might just be a bug. To stop it being a werepire, if you wish to do so, because you are an abomination and you should feel ashamed of yourself for being so, you can give Beelzebub some garlic bread, and that'll make it so you're no longer a werepire, which helps us for this next step that we want to complete. However, Beelzebub has more uses than just being a big old dum-dum. If you kill him, he will drop this demonic deed. Now with this deed, if you take the demonic deed and combine it with your tag lock, you can sign the demonic deed. Then you take this and you present it to a demon, and the demon is now your pet and will follow you and serve you. So, if we go back into survival here, we have a pet demon, and we can tell him to stay, we can tell him to move about, and we can give him a name. And he remains mostly like a wolf, so he's like a tame dog, so he'll follow us now. If we tell him to follow, teleport up behind us. If there's baddies that are hurting us, he will become unhappy with them and will fight back, launching fireballs at them and attempt to kill them for us. And we basically got ourselves a pet demon now who will beat up other creatures. Now, I don't know if you, he will fight other demons for you. Now, as long as demons aren't fighting you or aggressive, and you basically summon them in different locations so they don't want to murder each other, you actually can have multiple demons at a time hanging out with you, which could be pretty good, having yourself basically a demon army in service to you. So now we have 2 demons, which is pretty nice. And we move on to the final thing, which is probably one of the least satirical things, although the demons are actually pretty cool and Beelzebub's pretty cool. The werepire is like a 50-50. I mean, they're cool, but they're also kind of silly. But the really cool thing is Lichdom. Now, this is insane endgame stuff. To start Lichdom, you require a very intense setup, which is 2 netherite ingots, another star, and 3 emeralds. So we're actually going to properly craft this thing because it has an interesting property to it when you craft it, which I'd like to showcase here. So, when you make this thing, very expensive, you get the phylactery, and you also, at the same time, get a lich gem. So, wherever you put the phylactery down, it doesn't have to be there permanently, but that's now where your phylactery is. And the phylactery carries souls in it. So, these souls are collected by killing villagers. So, if you have the soul gem in your offhand, or the lich gem, and you kill a villager, it will gain a soul in it. Now, these aren't all that useful just yet. You have to do something before they actually do anything, and that's the process of becoming a lich. So becoming a lich is also a very expensive ritual, and it requires this here, which we changed way early on in the video, if you don't remember that. So what you need for the Lichdom is an Undying Totem, which turns out to be very useful in this Besmirched pack to become a Werepire. You need a Zombie Head, a Demon Heart, Grim Elixir, Ectoplasm, a Demon, and possibly Anthem, although I'm unsure about that. So, yes, this is the ritual you need set up, and it'll need to be nighttime for this to work, for this ritual to work. Now, also for this ritual to work, you need to be affected by apathy, which we're going to do right now. So we have now been cursed with apathy, and we have a full altar over here. So now, all that we need to be doing is putting Undying Totem in here, a Zombie Head, a Demon Heart, a Grim Elixir, Ectoplasm, and we need to kill a demon within the ritual circle. And there we go. Now the ritual has started. And this will turn us into a lich. Now you may notice that I am pitiful. I'm a very, very weak creature right now. And that is because my flag tree is empty. So I am slowed. I don't hit as hard. I have very little health. I'm basically on death's door, especially with werepires chasing me. Yeah, I just died. If we go to our Flactrol over here, we can add one of the souls to it. And you notice it gave us a few more hearts. And we're doing slightly better now. Now, we're not doing great, and you notice that we're not regenerating like normal, but we're still doing a little bit better than we were. However, we're going to need some more souls in this thing, because we're not feeling so good. So, you may notice also that because we're undead, this villager is terrified of us. So they're going to start running away from us, and iron golems will probably try to kill us now. So we're going to have to make a villager hole for ourselves here as a lich. Okay, there we go. You can't get away now, sucker. So there we go. We got another soul filling this up. And we can put that in there. And now we have 2 souls in our phylactery. As you can see, this contains 2 souls now, and our health is slightly better. The soul gem can only carry 1 soul at a time, unfortunately, which does make the process rather slow. So you're going to want to have a collection of villagers nearby when you start this up, so that you can get fully charged in a decent amount of time. The soul gem will contain 8 souls in total. If we try to add any more, so we got this filled soul gem, and as you can see we're at 8, it'll no longer add them. But that's fine, that serves our purpose. And we've got base armor, we're slightly better than normal. And, well, Lichdom seems okay, I guess. You get the armor, I mean you're weak or whatever. But also does something else. If you have ME, you can press R and go into ghost form. And it makes you transparent and green and glowy, and you can phase through the world. Now this burns a huge amount of power, but it basically lets you fly about, and it's pretty slick. And you look like a ghost. And I don't think you can quite really stop moving while you're in the spectral form, but it's pretty fun. And you can just stop being in spectral form. And being a lich with souls in your phylactery basically gives you a permanent totem of the Undying. So if we were to, let's say, summon a demon here, and we're like, "Oi, you wanna go, mate?" He's like, "Sure, I wanna go." And we just came back to life, and we're all ethereal now. And he's like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's right, punk." And then we can keep on fighting him. And then we're going to lose our etherealness and going to become vulnerable to his hits again. And then he's going to kill us again, and it's like, ho, we're dead again, but we're still ethereal, bring it on. And you also, if you're like, okay, I can't win these fights, he's too strong. If you hold shift while he's fighting you, just as you die, while holding shift, you'll teleport right back to your phylactery. And as you can see, it's been drained of 3 of the souls, luckily we got a spare, and we can fill it up again. Now, you can only have 1 phylactery at a time, 8 souls max, so you got 8 extra lives. That's pretty good. Also, you can't be a vampire or a werewolf or a werepire when you are a lich. And this is because liches count as a transformation. So you can't be those other things. Also be weird being a vampire and a lich at the same time. That just seems wrong, don't you know? And as the Besmirched mod for Bewitchment, a mod for a mod. As the Besmirched add-on for Bewitchment, it adds, well, all the stuff you saw. A lot of it is satirical. It's meant to be joke content they didn't add. I think it's Al's joke, the maker of the mod. Al is one of the members of the Bewitchment team, and so it's just their fun little thing to add on. And, well, we have our own little fun thing. Woo, we're ghosts! Spooky. Going to scare these villagers. Yeah. So, if you want any other mods reviewed, I will try to get it done. This wasn't very much a review. If you want any more how-to showcase? Yes, a showcase. This was a mod showcase. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed the showcase. If you want any mods showcase reviewed or how-to, just let me know. I think I have like one that I'm also planning to do in the future. Don't have to be Minecraft mods, they can be any mods. And yeah, that's that. So, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.